All right, here's a quick intro video for an absolutely unique property in Douglas County, Missouri, so right in the heart of the Ozarks. This is 30 acres, and it directly borders the Mark Twain National Forest along its entire east side. So the National Forest gives you, well, like the map says here, about 100,000 acres of additional land for hunting, swimming, fishing, camping, trail riding, exploring. That is directly adjacent to this property. So if you're a hunter, if you're into recreation and hiking, this is pretty much as good as it gets. The other big bonus is the North Fork River, which is one of the two or three most popular rivers in the Ozarks, is about a mile from this property. As the crow flies, it's actually less than a mile. By road, it's going to be slightly over that. But not only do you have the North Fork that close, but you have an exceptional access point. It's this bluish shaded area. It's called the Hebron access to the North Fork River. If you say that to a local, they probably won't know what you're talking about because everybody calls it Steel Bridge because there is or was an old steel bridge where you would cross the river at that point. But it's a great access point. I mean, there's a little parking area, and it's good for swimming, fishing, all that good stuff. That's super close. So why don't we'll zoom in, we'll take a look at the property, then we'll zoom way out and we'll check out the area here. So here you can see the 30 acres. It's outlined in red. The green shaded area is the National Forest, which borders the whole east side of the property. It's basically all wooded other than a couple small clearings and some trails. We're going to zoom in and this should turn to a wintertime view. There we go. So we're using the MapRight interactive map to really take a look at this. You can play with the interactive map itself. The same map will be on the listing page. So feel free to zoom in and out. You can change base maps. You can look at the topo map. You can look at the area. It's a really, really good way to look at this property. The fact that this is a wintertime aerial is interesting because it kind of enables us to see the type of trees on the property. So since this is a winter aerial, the hardwood trees don't have any leaves, and the green trees that you see would be either cedar or pine. And in this case, most of those are going to be pine. In fact, we know there's a large pine grove toward the south side of the property with beautiful pine trees. And you've got, many pine trees dotted throughout. It's mostly hardwood, mostly going to be red oak, white oak, hickory, etc. But these pine groves are really neat as well. As we look at this, and these base maps on MapRight are often several years old. This one looks like some vehicles or whatnot on the northeast side. Again, it's an old base map. They don't update all that often. But why don't let's do this. We'll zoom back in a second, but I just want to show you the access to this property. I mean, it's super private, but it's only a couple miles off of a paved road. So here on the south, you've got Highway 14. In fact, I think we'll we'll zoom way out and then we'll come back in, give you another look at the property. We're really not through looking at the property closely, but I want to show you how you get to it. Okay, so as we're going to zoom out until you can see Springfield and the general area. So over to the left, that's Springfield, Missouri, largest city in southern Missouri. The property itself, right toward the center here, it's a little red spot, and this shaded area is the Mark Twain National Forest, which is in about 6 sections in southern Missouri, 6 districts. I believe this is called the Ava district. I'm not sure about that, but this district by itself has about 100,000 acres. So that's what you've got access to. If you look, if you look to the east, we've got West Plains, Missouri. That's probably the closest regional city. That's to the east, although if you go to the west, it's about the same to Ava to the west or West Plains to the east. Ava is the county seat for Douglas County. This property is in Douglas County. West Plains is the county seat for Howell County. So they're both, fairly small, but very usable cities. They have the Walmarts and hardware stores and dozens of restaurants and stores and all that good stuff. So there are going to be very small towns closer than that, but you're probably talking like a post office and a gas station in some of the very small towns. From Springfield, probably somewhere between an hour and a half to 2 hours to get to the property, depending on which way you go. what we would probably do is we'd go east on Highway 60. And there's a couple ways you can go. Probably the most simple is go east on 60, go south on Highway 5 to Ava, and then go east on Highway 14. And it'll take you there. If you're coming in from the east, from West Plains, you would go north a few miles and then go west on Highway 14, get to the property that way. So great location. By the way, to the south here, within about an hour, you've got some awesome lakes. You've got Branson, Missouri, which is a little over an hour away. But since you have the North Fork River so close, and you're adjacent to that national forest, and you've already got 30 acres of your own private property, you may never want to leave once you get out here. So let's say to get here from West Plains. Okay, so here we've got the property shown in red. Here's West Plains, Missouri. Go south out of town for just a couple miles, and then you're looking for Highway 14 going to the west. So you take that to the west. I don't know the exact mileage. Maybe look at the listing page. We might have it there. As you go west, you'll see 181 going to the north, and that's also where you'll cross the North Fork River. You'll see the bridge, you'll see the North Fork, and you'll see Twin Bridges Campground and Canoe Rental, so that's a good landmark. After that, you go a couple more miles, and you're looking for, on this map, it's shown as County Road 279. So coming off Highway 14, County Road 279, going to the north, there will probably be some type of sign for the North Fork River access, or I think it actually says Hebron access, so look for that. And why don't we switch this over to a Google map now? That shows the roads pretty well usually. These labels are kind of messy. There we go. Okay. So you've gone west out of West Plains, looking for County Road 279. That's going to be a gravel road. So take that to the north. We might as well get precise measurement while we're here. Pretty soon you'll be in the National Forest. You're going just under half a mile, and you're looking for this forest road that's going to cut to the left. It's going to cut to the west. That's shown as yellow on this map. It may be marked with a small sign, but I do not know what number it would be. But as long as you're going about half a mile north off of 181, you'll see that forest road. So you'll take that forest road, it winds around a little bit, and this is where it would be handy to have the MapRight app. At a minimum, print out these maps if you can, but easiest thing to do is download the free MapRight app to your smartphone or your tablet, whichever one you have your internet access on, and then pull up the listing page for this property and find the interactive map on the listing page. Now, in the upper left corner of the actual interactive map, it will say View Full Screen. If you already have the app installed, the MapRight app, and you click View Full Screen within the listing page on the interactive map, it will then give you the option of opening it up within the app. So you'll have to say yes to do that. You might have to give it access to your location data, your GPS, because what it's going to do then is it'll open the very same map up within the app, but it will also have a little colored dot to show exactly where you are. And you can kind of trace your route. You can be looking at the interactive map. You'll see the little colored dot. You'll know right where to turn to get to the property. It's really cool. MapRight app is free. You're welcome to sign up for their service, but you absolutely do not need it since we've already created this map. You can use that for free. In fact, many people tell us it's easier if you don't get a subscription to MapRight, and it works really well. So anyway, we've just turned left. We're going on that forest road, and just for fun, why don't we trace that to get an idea about how far that is. Whoop. And this will be a gravel road as well, of course, going through the Mark Twain National Forest. We're just going to get an approximation because you want to look for this other left road going to the left, almost exactly a mile. So that's easy to remember. So you come off Highway 14, you go about half a mile. Look for the road going to the left or the west. Take that for about a mile, and then you'll look for this little spur road, which also goes off to the left, and that's what's going to lead into the property. Now, this little spur road will likely not be marked, but it will be apparent. It should be obvious when you get out there. Once you've gone a mile on that forest road, look to the left, you'll see that. It's the dotted line on this map, and that's what you'll take right up to the northeast corner of the property. There may be a cable up with a lock on it. Get a hold of us. We'll give you the combo for that. Now, this particular tract, years and years ago, this was part of a larger tract uh, that borders the other property borders it to the north. I think it was about 120 acres. I'm not sure. If we turn on the parcel there, we'll see that. Okay, so that outline in red, we've got the 30 acres. It was once part of this property, which is now about 80 acres. But when the two properties were split, the owner at the time wanted to make sure that both properties had access coming in, because there was only one forest road that came in. So there's an access easement just over the northeast part of this property, and actually I believe also over the southeast corner of this property. And it's just to ensure that both the owner of the 30 acres and the owner of the other property both have access. So where this cable comes in, there may be two locks, because this guy, of course, can put his own lock on it if he wants to, and you can do the same with your 30 acres. Just want to make everybody aware of that. So it'll come in, you'll come into this clearing area. Basically, as soon as you start cutting to the left, I mean, well, you're already on the property, and you'll see this clearing. Now, we're told that this property was leased out. We know it was leased out or sold or whatnot for hunting for quite a few years. We've been told that someone had started some type of small cabin on the property, and we actually have not been out there to see any details on that. It could very well be up on this northeast corner, or it could be further back. Don't expect it to be anything special at all. It might just be a couple chunks of plywood that have been nailed to a tree. We really don't know. If we get out there and get photos or videos, obviously we'll add those to the listing page. But right now, this is just an opportunity for someone to get this property and get out there and start using it. But be aware that there could be some building materials or some stuff on there, potentially a little bit of trash, but there's not going to be a big dump site or anything like that. But as we get onto the property, as we said before, it's basically all wooded other than a few clearings and the trails. So this trail, and this is a good trail, it probably needs to be mowed or brush hogged. This goes all the way down to the south side, cuts over, goes through that pine grove on the property, and then there's a large clearing at the end, large open clearing. Hard to see on this map, but there are also trails that go off this way over toward the west side of the property. And once we pull up the topo map, it'll make a lot of sense why that trail goes that way. Okay, so topo maps can definitely be confusing. This one is no exception, but basically it's showing us the elevation change on the property. Total elevation change between two lines on this map, like most maps, is 20 feet. So every fifth line is a darker line, because that indicates elevation change of 100 feet. Between two dark lines is 100 feet. So if we look on this map, you see the 900. That particular line is 900 feet above sea level. So you count up to the next dark line, that one's 1,000 feet above sea level. And that would be, well, if we look at this one where you come in, that's probably 1,100 feet above sea level. So you're coming in at the highest point, relatively level. We've got this trail that cuts south. This particular first part is very gradual. There's some steepness to it when you get down to here. This is basically a valley that you can see cutting through the property. It's fairly gradual here on the east, and it gets steeper here toward the northwest. But the road, the existing road, comes right in, goes to the south side where it's much more level, and then continues west. Where the turnaround is flat. Most of this west side, the center of the west side, is actually a large knoll. So that's level. There's trees and trails throughout all of that. I mean, this is just a hunting paradise. The people that would hunt down here, they lived out of state. They'd come down with their buddies a couple weeks a year for deer hunting. I believe they turkey hunted out here too, and they said it was great, but really it was the deer hunting that drew them in here, and they would just do absolutely phenomenal, not only on this tract, but they could go into the national forest as well and scout out some sites there. So you can see how the property lays, which is great. Go to the satellite map. We haven't seen any signs of recent logging out here. other than maybe to clear for a small building site or whatnot. But um, like anything in the Ozarks, it's been logged at some point, but it's been quite a few years since there's been any logging, other than, like we said, possibly the person that was out there maybe cut some smaller trees to, I don't know, build some kind of foundation on a cabin. Really not sure. If you go out there and see anything interesting, just let us know. And again, that's going to be our wintertime view. This little turnaround area, that strip there looks to me like someone dumped a load of gravel there, maybe just to have a nice level place to park a fifth wheel. I'm really not sure about that. Beautiful, beautiful tract. So private. We always have people looking for large tracts on the national forest, so we're really excited to have this one. It's a great area. You've got the freedom to do practically whatever you want out here. I mean, it's just awesome. You can look at the listing page for any details on that, but I mean, you can build your own cabin. You can use this for hunting. On this particular tract, you could build a residence. It does not have to be 600 square feet. It does not have to be on a concrete foundation. I mean, you just have a ton of freedom out here. So this video kind of got away from us and got a lot longer than we wanted, but it's a really cool property. It's a special one. I doubt we'll have another one like this. So if you have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, you can call us in the office. You can email us at sales@instantacres.com. Or you can stop by if you're in the Springfield area. We're about 15 minutes east of Springfield. That's where our office is located. And yeah, we hope to hear from you. Oh, by the way, if I hadn't mentioned it already, go to the website first, InstantAcres.com. That's where you can see if this is still available. You'll see it in the 10 plus acre category, I would imagine, since it's 30 acres. And if it's not there, then unfortunately it's sold. If it is there, you can look through it. You can see the any other videos we have, any maps, all that good stuff. And yeah, we hope to hear from you. InstantAcres.com.